We are following two big breaking news stories, both gaining nationwide attention. An update on the gun battle that left 4 officers dead and 4 others injured in Charlotte.
The second big story is unfolding in Chapel Hill. Encampments continue to grow at UNC and other campuses across the country as demonstrators protest the war in Gaza. Locally, police and pro-Palestinian protesters clashed when the university's 6 a.m. deadline to disband passed.
We'll head live to Charlotte in just a moment, but right now, Palestinian supporters continue to rally on campus at UNC-Chapel Hill. WRAL was there as officers moved in before dawn and ordered protesters to leave and arrested those who didn't.
WRAL's Matt Tallhelm is live on campus to bring us up to speed on all these new developments. Matt.
Yeah, Renee and Jeff, just within the last minute here, this vigil outside Wilson Library started on the move here. You can see the crowd marching along here. They are heading from Wilson Library, where they've had a silent vigil for the last 30 minutes to honor the people who were arrested here at these clashes this morning. You can see they are marching here. Their plan is to march up to South Building. That is the administrative building here, of course. That is the Chancellor's office. The interim Chancellor here is one of those who did order that protest, the encampment, to be cleared out here this morning. I want to show you some video from earlier today. This is where this all started here. We were outside the Orange County Detention Center and as the supporters cheered on the arrested protesters as they were released. Now, they did surround them. They tried to block our view using blankets and umbrellas. Court records we have show at least 6 people are facing charges, including trespassing, resisting an officer, and assault on a government employee. They are among about 30 people police initially detained as they cleared out that encampment right around 6 o'clock this morning. The university sent out a notice giving these protesters 30 minutes to leave the encampment. Then police from all across the UNC system went in and removed those protesters who refused to move out.
You got over 100, 200 police officers marching onto a campus to disrupt students while they're sleeping. And we are still not scared. We were ready for this because we know that, this is how they have been operating.
Now, UNC says some of the protesters tried to force their way into South Building after the encampment was cleared. Again, that is the administrative building, the Chancellor's office. Not everyone that was detained or arrested is a university student here. According to the university, there are other people, not students, that were among those detained and arrested. But again, back out here live, as you can see, this crowd, I'd say 300 or more people that were holding that silent vigil on the steps at the Wilson Library are now on the move. They are marching here along Polk Place. Kurt, I don't know if you can actually see, they're marching right by where they held that vigil, their encampment, the last 5 days. That area is now surrounded by metal fencing. That's been put up here in the last few hours. That is where the encampment was set up for those 5 days. They are marching right by that encampment area here on their way up to South Building, where they plan to continue to rally to get their message, their chants across to the Chancellor and university leadership here. They have been calling on the university to divest of their investments in Israel. That is something that has been one of their demands. They're going to continue that message up there. We'll bring you any updates as they happen here on UNC's campus. Back to you.
And the protesters there are growing in numbers there on UNC-Chapel Hill campus as Matt Tallhelm continues to monitor that situation there from Chapel Hill. Right now, as we're coming up on 12:30, we are closely watching the protest that is growing on UNC-Chapel Hill's campus, the crowd now numbering in the hundreds.
Yeah, but that seems to have grown throughout the day. Today's the final day of classes, but as we know from the arrests earlier, a couple dozen arrests earlier, not all of those people who were arrested are students at the school. Matt Tallhelm has been out there all morning long and has seen a lot of movement from their original location to where they are right now. Matt, tell us what's happening there.
Yeah, Jeff and Renee, the protests started with a silent vigil at the other end here, but you can see they are now on the steps here of South Building. This is the Chancellor's office here, inside here. Within the last 30 minutes, we did get a message from the Chancellor's office saying that no one has the right to disrupt our campus here and operations, nor to threaten or intimidate our students or damage and destroy public property. That is the message from the Chancellor's office here. As this protest continues right outside the Chancellor's office, there are now hundreds of people, as you can see in the crowd, that have gathered out here. We do know, as you mentioned, 6 people have been arrested, not all of them UNC students. Those 6 people are all facing a variety of charges after that encampment was cleared out and broken up. All 6 are charged with resisting a public officer. 5 are charged with second-degree trespassing. 2 are also charged with assaulting a government official. The crowd here saying that they are here to show support for them, to be together here, and to continue this call to the university's administration here to divest in any investments in Israel, to disclose them. They are also calling for a ceasefire. As you can see, though, a lot of those signs that were a part of that encampment right over there behind this crowd, that's where they were camped out for 5 days here on this campus. They are now gathered outside here in silence, sending that message to university administration. It has been peaceful. We have not seen any police out here throughout this protest, throughout this march. It has mostly just been students, community members, and faculty members here. But again, we will continue to be live here following this as anything develops here.
Matt Tallhelm live on campus, UNC-Chapel Hill.
A similar scene playing out at the University of Utah, where law enforcement agencies combined efforts to remove hundreds of pro-Palestine protesters. School officials issued a statement Monday night instructing demonstrators to take their tents down immediately and leave. The statement warned of consequences for students, faculty, and community members.
Protesters at Columbia University in New York broke windows and occupied Hamilton Hall on the school's campus early this morning. Many of them wore helmets, safety glasses, gloves, and masks and barricaded that entrance. School officials say they've begun suspending those who refuse to leave their encampment. At UCLA, a pro-Palestinian protest encampment was taken over a large campus plaza there for several days, and this is what it looks like from up in the air. University officials said minor scuffles broke out involving demonstrators and pro-Israel demonstrators over the weekend. No significant injuries or arrests have been reported.